What's up, y'all? This is Dre with Build 206, Brothers United in Leadership Development, Build 206 Media. We're in the Dancing in the Rain Media Studio, and I'm here with my young brother from another, Ed. Thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me, brother.
Yeah, for sure. Let's jump into this interview. So, Ed, tell us a little bit about your background and the work that you have been doing and are doing in community.
Yeah, so my name's Ed. I'm from the Central District. Family been here since the 40s. You know what I'm saying? A product of, hood culture. And some of the stuff that I've been doing in the community over the last few years is security for, community events and for community gatherings. Educational programs for youth, self-defense trainings for both adults and youth, and just all around just really pushing, a culture of unity in our communities amongst Black and African people.
That's what's up. So, is this always something that you wanted to do? Is that kind of work that you always wanted to do from when you were younger? How did you get into it? Like, what was the process?
So I'm from the Central District. I grew up, gang banging. You know what I'm saying? I'm still from where I'm from, but understanding my hood and all of our hoods, from everybody who, grew up in that life, I got to doing research, in my early 20s, and really just reading history, because I grew up, on the red side of things, and we're supposed to know Swahili, we'd be like Damu. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, blood, Parus, we'd be like Damu, which is Swahili for blood. So I started looking up, why that it was, and it led back to prisons and people being able to speak a language that nobody knew, and then it went back even further that they were implementing that particular language because it's an African language that is the most used African language in the world by Africans all over the world. So and then it led me to like researching more and finding out that Bloods and Crips are just bastards of the Black Panther Party. So, so that plus seeing my neighborhood, really get snatched up, because as gang members, we're territorial. Seeing my neighborhood get snatched up under me, and it wasn't from, any enemy hoods. It was from, people with deep pockets.
Right.
So that made me, just more aware of who I was, and made me want to even become more aware of who I am and what I'm supposed to be doing in the community, and it led to me doing this type of work.
So can you talk about your organization a little bit?
Yes, the Blaq Elephant Party, we really started in 2017, and it's been ebbs and flows, just learning through it, because we ain't never done nothing like it before. Lost weight, gained weight, and just really have been being scientific with how we move so that we learn from our past mistakes and take what works and leave what doesn't. And growing, because it's been a journey to discover self. You know what I'm saying? So So it started in 2017, 2018, more refined in the community. 2019, really see what the need more was for our community, which was around, making sure that there was security at different places, and making sure that our community understood, all the different types of self-defense there was, and how we could combat, the culture of decadent gun, the negative side of guns in our community, and teach about it from a positive perspective, so that women, adults, anybody could be teaching other kids about guns from a positive perspective, so they don't become like this thing in their life. Well, pretty much so that they don't learn about it from music, movies in the streets, which is a negative way to learn about it. So both that and then pushing our history on top of that, so we really have a solid foundation of how to move. That's what our organization is like really about. Like that's the foundation of it. So yeah, and we chose the elephant as the symbol for the organization because it's the largest on land, strongest on land, one of the most loving creatures, but can beat any of the most ferocious animals. And they're also matriarchal, you know what I'm saying? And they keep, they make sure that the women are in leadership and are running stuff. And the main reason is because of the memory. And, we're big on history and remembering our ancestors who they tried to bury, and not trying to give us the education on who they were so that we can grow into who we are. So we chose that because of the elephant's memory. And also our ancestors are the elephants in the room. So that's where it came from. So a huge inspiration for both from the UNIA ACL, which was Marcus Garvey's organization, and the Black Panther Party.
That's what's up. So we kind of talked about this a little bit, but I'm going to ask you anyway. So what is your motivation for continuing the work that you do? Like, what's your why on why you're doing what you're doing?
Man, my motivation is really seeing, my family, my friends dying, in the streets, going to jail, you know what I'm saying? Or just, succumbing to mental illness, man, it just be so many different routes that be negative that, I see Black people from lower class cultures go into, you know what I'm saying? So, my motivation is really to, reverse that, to make sure that, we stop going to prison and, abolish the whole slave system in general. Because that's something I didn't mention, but we do work with a lot of brothers inside the prisons and the brothers who are getting out. Abolishing that system and, abolishing this, anti-Black system that we're in,
Right.
So that's it. That's my main motivation for it, to reverse that.
So describe your journey, and this is relevant, right, to what you feel like success is. But let's describe your journey towards success and what has been some of your biggest lessons learned as you're heading towards success.
Man, my journey towards success, it's definitely been a learning process because, coming out of actual gangbanging, I wouldn't think that in these areas where people are supposed to be helping the community, there's gangbanging going on, and that's got to be my biggest lesson, is to really make sure that you have a plan, making sure that everything is planned out to the T, and working from your own square, so that the foundation is like very sturdy and not really trying to depend on other people, but really focusing on yourself and then leaning on other people that actually want to help you build and grow. You know what I'm saying? Like Build 206. Plug.
Shout out. So yeah, and I mean, we talked about this before, and a lot of it, gang culture, and even community work culture is still all rooted in capitalism, right? So that's where I call it institutional gangbanging. It's the same behaviors, it's just acting out in different ways. So it's, but really when you understand that that's coming from a place of people are trying to eat, people are trying to feed their families, and sometimes when that happens, people don't always make the best decisions, gang life, you're either doing whatever you got to do or in community work or whatever else is going on. So just understanding that. So yeah, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back in the studio in a second here with Ed.
Get informed about your rights as an employee working in the city of Seattle. Check out Build's labor law information at www.build206.com/labor standards today.
What's up, all y'all? We're back in the studio with my guy Ed. Welcome back. It's Bill 206 Media, and it's another episode of the Blaq Wealth podcast. So, Ed, what resources do you think are needed for others in our community to see success, start a business or organization? Like, what do you think is the most top 2 or 3 resources that folks need?
Well, first of all, they need build. Yeah, I mean, they do. We need to build, in every community in this culture in this country and in the world. More people that are pushing, incubators. That's one is a top resource, because it's not even just it's trying to help you. Here's some money, work. No, here's some money and stay connected, so we can have an interview with you and push your business out, and we can connect you with other resources in the community. So that's a top resource, would be number one for me. So more of these type of incubation type of community organization groups, programs around there. Second, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Second, because I feel like that's a huge one. But second would be more spaces that people could, access to more spaces for people's businesses. Because affordable spaces, I would say too, with assistance from the city government to be pouring in, because we know that a big thing that's missing from our communities is reparations, and right. We never got reparations for 400 years of slavery. We paid reparations to Japanese for the internment camps. Reparations that went to Holocaust victims, and right. And they, the American government weren't even the Nazis that did that to them, and they right. They got reparations. So that's what we need. There needs to be more resources poured into spaces where people could actually have their businesses, storefronts, community centers, etc.
You're talking about American descendants of slaves, resources for American descendants of slaves, just to be clear, because sometimes these stuff turns into BIPOC and all this other stuff. So
yeah, for African American descendants of slaves, black people that were taken from Africa over the last 400 years, not people who are non-black people.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to be clear on that so we know what we're talking about. And I agree. So I think those are some top resources. I'll speak a little bit about the incubator program and what our philosophy is around that. So the Blaq Wealth Incubator Program, we invested some money in 20 Black-led organizations or Black-led businesses, and it wasn't just about the resources. It was also about the education component, the mentorship piece, and that's those are 2 themes that come up from a lot of the people that we interview. Is one, you need capital, you need resources, and then you need education and mentorship. From a trusting mentor to actually be able to navigate some of these processes and systems that are in place, so you don't get caught up not doing your taxes or having profit and loss statements and those types of things, just so people can understand how to be efficient in running a business or an organization. And even if it's an organization grassroots, there's a level of business that goes, as you're aware, level of business that goes into the administrative pieces that go into operating that. So those are some things that we tried to encompass in this incubator program, and we're looking forward to kicking off another one next year, coming up here soon, to re-up it and make it bigger and better. So I agree. Spaces that actually have activities, programs, gatherings, that's critical. Definitely resources are critical, and I agree. If we're paying taxes, this is really our money. We're not asking them to give us anything. It's really resources that are ours, and we should have access to, and we should decide how we get to use them in our community to better our opportunities. So thank you for sharing that.
And I just want to say shout out to Build, because some of the money from the incubation process went to getting our self-defense instructors certified in their training. So shouts out to y'all.
That's what's up, and that's what the money is for, to help people be more resilient and grow, build their capacity, and hopefully ultimately build Black wealth. That's, it sounds catchy, but it's really, in a nutshell, that's really what it's about. So glad we could help. Glad, looking forward to seeing what comes from that endeavor that you guys are pushing into now, being more solidified and having the resources to put the structures in place. So, as an entrepreneur, what is one tip or trick that you've learned that helped you succeed?
As an entrepreneur, the biggest tip I would say is, not doing it by yourself, not just thinking you can just go on the internet and research a bunch of stuff and be able to just come with this whole thing by yourself, but actually, finding solid people that you could work with. And, at times you do got to do it by yourself, but, finding solid people to work with has been the best for me because, me personally, with some of the stuff that I've been wanting to do, I wasn't completely laced on. So having somebody involved in it, whether it be a business partner or a mentor of some type, or even just a person that you meet up with one time and pay them $100 to teach you a few things or get pointers from them, that alone, I would say, has been the biggest help. Just, yeah.
Yeah, the team aspect of we got a saying, it's like find people you can huddle up with and not bump heads all the time, because you're going to bump heads sometimes. You're not going to agree on everything, but we got to be able to huddle up and not have a bunch of issues, because a lot of times the issues is taking a lot of energy to pulling away from a lot of stuff. So, what is the best advice that you can give someone that's looking to start an organization, start a business? Like, what's like some of the best advice you would give somebody that's looking at this where they're kind of stuck and trying to get through the process, maybe doing research, trying to figure stuff out. Sometimes people overthink things. It's hard to get out the blocks to get going. So what is some of the best advice you would give somebody if you were going to mentor somebody or give them advice about starting an organization and or a business?
The best advice I could give people is pretty much to, both find a mentor and just get out there and just do it. Over the last few years, I've made a lot of mistakes, and I'm grateful for them because they're lessons that are priceless. They taught me how to move both in my personal and public and business life. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one piece of advice. And the second I would say is protect your reputation. You're really only as good as your name, and and it's not even just about protecting your reputation, but it's about you actually having integrity so that your reputation does stay strong, and that you actually are on a path to actually accomplishing everything that you need to accomplish for your business, for your community, whatever you're trying to do. Have that integrity as a defense for both yourself, so that you can be strong internally, and to make sure that your reputation continues to take you along.
Yeah, and that's solid advice for just building wealth in general, that, basically you need to have a good brand. If your brand is bad, then you're not gonna have the wealth that you're trying to get or trying to achieve or grow. So your name is everything, and word of mouth is the best marketing. When you're making things happen anyway. So word of mouth, like the community says what people say about you. So that's key, solid advice for folks. So
Thanks.
So how do folks get in contact? You want you to look right directly into the camera and tell folks how to get in contact with you. The information is definitely in the description, but I want to give you an opportunity to connect with people and let them know how to get in contact with you and the work that you're doing.
So you can get in contact with us through Instagram, Facebook, our website, which is the BlaqElephantParty.org. Our Instagram is Blaq Elephant Party.org. So it's pretty much the same thing. And Black is spelled with a BLAQ. Quality. So that's how you can get in touch with us. For this year, we have took this year to really build infrastructure, but our website is up and active, and you could contact us with anything, and really look out for us next year because we're coming with a lot of things.
Yeah, so thanks for joining us, brother, and we're looking forward to seeing what next year has in store for the work that you guys are doing. And once again, you guys make sure you guys go out and support, look at the work that they're doing. They have volunteer opportunities for you guys to engage and support and participate in the activities and events that they're doing. Once again, this is Dre with Build 206 Media. Brothers Uniting Leadership Development. We're in the Dancing in the Rain Media Studios, and this is another episode of the Build Black Wealth Podcast. Until next time, peace.
Peace. Thanks for having me.